In other cultural news of the day, Jason Aldean continues to be ripped up and down for the great crime of creating a song where he says that in a small town, people don't tend to stand for riots. This apparently is incredibly bad. The media have been on him for a week about this, and Jason Aldean is doing the thing that you must never do. He's refusing to apologize. Good for him. So over the weekend, Jason Aldean did a concert in which he slammed the BS of people attacking him over this. Good for him.
Hey, here's what I want to say. A lot of things out there, and one thing I love, you guys know how it is this day and age, cancel culture is a thing. That's something that if people don't like what you say, they try and make sure that they can cancel you, which means try and ruin your life, ruin everything. One thing I saw this week was a bunch of country music fans that could see through a lot of the bull, all right?
Good for him. Good for him. Because again, he violated the thing that you're not supposed to say, which is that maybe small town community life has something going for it. What you're supposed to believe is that cosmopolitan values, left-wing social values that come from New York or San Francisco or LA, that these are the things that are supposed to govern everyday life, and that their view of the universe ought to be your view of the universe. And if you say, wait, hold up a second, I actually think that people very often live better, more fulfilling lives in small communities with community cohesiveness, that's a thing that you're not supposed to say at all. And you're certainly supposed to apologize if you do say it. And Jason Aldean isn't doing that. And so they came after him. They tried to trump up a charge that he's a racist. That, of course, is not true. And he rebutted it, and he said no. Good for him. But this is what the left is into these days. If you violate their precepts, they just lie about you. That's their thing now, is that truth is of no consequence. The only thing that matters is the agenda. Agenda uber alles for these folks. Let's talk about maintaining a healthy lifestyle. So I've told you this before. I got a problem. I don't like vegetables. Vegetables are terrible. They're basically God's revenge on mankind. But you still have to eat them or you will die sooner, because the fact is that you need to eat healthy. This is why I rely on Balance of Nature fruits and veggies. They're a great way to make sure that you're getting essential nutritional ingredients every single day. Through Balance of Nature's advanced cold vacuum process, the vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients of the fruits and vegetables are preserved, so you get that vital nutrition in each capsule. Balance of Nature is a whole food supplement with no additives, fillers, extracts, synthetics, pesticides, or added sugar. Pure fruits and veggies. Those are the only things they put in their capsules. Balance of Nature sent a bunch of their product down to the studio for my team to try. We all love them. They're kosher, so I'm able to have them as well, and I can testify as to how effective and good they are. For a limited time this summer, when you become a preferred customer at Balance of Nature, they are throwing in a free fruit and veggies travel set and giving an additional $25 off your first order. Go to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Shapiro for a free travel set plus $25 off your first order as a preferred customer. That's balanceofnature.com. Promo code Shapiro, balanceofnature.com. Promo code Shapiro. Time for our Meat of It question, sponsored by Good Ranchers, where we get to the meat of a hard-hitting weekly question. The question is, has woke ideology always been disguised within mainstream Hollywood movies, or did it get progressively worse? The answer is it got progressively worse. Actually, the Hollywood industry was founded by people who were rather conservative. It took up until about the 1960s for the full Hollywood leftism to rear its ugly head. There were kind of signs of it in the 30s, signs of it in the 40s, but it was really by the 60s that it started to become full-blown. And now, obviously, it's been completely taken over because the market's been disconnected from the actual movie makers. But whether or not these kinds of messages can disguise themselves in entertainment, one thing is for sure. Foreign meat can disguise itself as a product of the United States. Yes, grocery store shelves are riddled with meat from other countries disguised in a product of the USA label. If you prefer to know without a shadow of a doubt where your meat comes from instead of guessing, well, there's one place to go. That is Good Ranchers. They source 100% American meat and deliver it to your door. No disguises, no surprises, just amazing American beef, chicken, and pork conveniently delivered when you need it. What exactly are you waiting for? Enjoy real meat and real service today with Good Ranchers. Visit goodranchers.com. Use my code Ben for $30 off any box. That's promo code Ben at goodranchers.com. Goodranchers.com is American meat delivered. You can see this in the current controversy over the Florida curriculum with regard to African-American Black history. If you look at the Black history curriculum in the state of Florida, it was written by a couple of Black scholars. And the curriculum, there's nothing wrong with it. I've looked at it. It's 212 pages long. It's basically a series of guidelines. And a couple of the guidelines that were controversial is one said that slaves sometimes developed skills that they could use for themselves. And this was read falsely by Kamala Harris and the rest of the left to suggest that in Florida, people are being taught that slavery is good. That's absurd. Literally what the curriculum says is that slaves took advantage of even the worst situations in order to better themselves, which is about the merit of the people who are being held in bondage, not about the greatness of slavery. That's stupid. In fact, Dr. William B. Allen, who is, again, one of the Black scholars who wrote this, he explained the agenda here.
It was never said that slavery was beneficial to Africans. What was said, and anyone who reads this will see this with clarity, It is the case that Africans proved resourceful, resilient, and adaptive, and were able to develop skills and aptitudes which served to their benefit, both while enslaved and after enslavement.
You would say that you're standing by these standards, even though the vice president was very verbose yesterday.
Well, I will repeat to Mr. McCarty that I'm not claiming authorship, but I'm certainly willing to stand behind the work of my members in the task force and to stand behind the collaborative process. I have read, of course, all the standards. I am quite confident in their validity and their historical accuracy and their motivations and intent.
So the media are just glossing right over this for the most part in order to prop up the lies that Kamala Harris is telling. And again, Kamala Harris's lies are directed against DeSantis. And the reason that Kamala Harris is telling lies against DeSantis is because, as everyone knows, there's quite a decent possibility that there's some extraneous event in the election of 2024 and Kamala Harris ends up at the top of the ticket. Joe Biden does not look good. He looks like he's collapsing in on himself. And what that means, if he is not healthy enough to run, is that Kamala Harris becomes the de facto Democratic nominee. If that happens, she thinks she may have to run against DeSantis. And so she's been trumping up this garbage that DeSantis is some sort of cruel, vicious racist. So last week, she did a whole speech claiming that black history was going to be taught in such a way that slavery was upheld as some sort of higher good in the state of Florida, which is ridiculous and absurd. Here's Ron DeSantis responding to those charges over the weekend.
I didn't do it, and I wasn't involved in it. But I think what they're doing is I think that they're probably going to show some of the folks that eventually parlayed, being a blacksmith into doing things later in life. But the reality is, all of that is rooted in whatever is factual. They listed everything out. And if you have any questions about it, just ask the Department of Education. You can talk about those folks. But I mean, these were scholars who put that together. It was not anything that was done politically.
Again, this isn't about the actual content of the program. There's nothing wrong with the content of the program. The entire thing is a trumped-up charge. In the same way that the attacks on Aldean are a trumped-up charge, the attacks on DeSantis on race are a trumped-up charge that are designed to uphold Kamala Harris. That's really what this is about. It's about propping up Harris, who's deeply unpopular with the American people because she's the least talented politician of our generation or maybe any other. Biden campaign chair Cedric Richmond actually went on CNN with Jim Acosta. And ladies, find you somebody who loves you like Jim Acosta loves Jim Acosta. And Cedric Richmond then blasted Ron DeSantis for, quote-unquote, attacking Kamala Harris.
What's your response to what Florida Governor DeSantis had to say about this?
Clearly, factually, he's wrong. Slavery was an abomination. It was utterly evil, and it had zero redeeming qualities.
No.
But I think that it further illustrates how far this Republican Party and these candidates are going to the right and to cater and pander to extremists in order to get support. And I think that Governor DeSantis, his campaign has been floundering. He's been looking for attention, and I think that he is now embarking on going as far to the right as he possibly can, just to see if he can be the extremist candidate.
Again, they're trumping this up in order to go after DeSantis. And this is one of the things you have to understand, is that if you are seen as an enemy of the regime, if you are seen as an enemy of the ideological regime, again, the charges will just be trumped up. It doesn't even matter. Alrighty, guys, the rest of the show continues right now. You're not going to miss it. We'll be getting into the mailbag. If you're not a member, become a member. Use code Shapiro at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans. Click that link in the description and join us.